Welcome to Loleventvods. Watch the full game from EMEA Masters, Winter 2025.
Truly play that counter pick game.
Well, those 80 carries that Los Ratones keep taking away also will pile on top. No Varus for the entire series so far. No Callista either, as they've stopped playing that one.
The curtains are strong as well.
But will the curtain...
They're calling for Akali. They're calling for LeBlanc.
Well, that's what Sotus locked in right against KCB with his B1 on the Akali. It was a bit of a unique strategy, but it worked out for him. And maybe they want to go something ballsy again if that's what it's going to take to beat the NLC.
Well, at this point, you have to get really innovative, don't you? Jack's taken away. We talked about this last game. We'll again mention that for Howling, one of his strongest picks so far, if not the most. The fact that that's taken away gives more options to Baus. I mean, as a volley bear top, I got to tell you, Jax is my least favorite matchup. So that's always thrown out there when you can see this pick taken off the board.
I'm expecting Ivern to be the last ban here.
Yep.
It's the last facilitating jungler there is. And then that allows Theocax to potentially pull out something like the Zac. Yone still in the picture. Tristana still in the picture for Certus. Things like that could get you a lot of priority through that mid lane jungle duel.
Okay, the Ivern is open, as you suggested, G. And I have to say, to be honest, your draft comments have been pretty on point today. It's going to be the Tristana to start things off with, though. A bit of a flex between Crowny and Nemesis here. And again, dude, gosh, how many times have we talked about the flexibility of Los Ratones in their draft? It seems like every time they pick a champion, you're wondering, okay, where's this one going to go?
True.
Doesn't give you any advantage to pick second really against this. And that is the Lilia lock-in. Okay.
He's running away from any facilitating type of champions. I mean, he's tried it game 1 and game 2. They've both gone pretty lukewarm, now being put on a carry. And again, that Yone that we talked about, so strong, especially for level 3. You can get priority through the lanes. However, Tristana is a very tough opponent to get prior over.
It is, and we could see that Ivan that we talked about a little bit before actually picked up Compass with it as well. I mean, it's the last tree left remaining, and we haven't seen one yet in the series with Tristana. It was such a good pairing. Baus, by the way.
Okay.
I mean, this normally gets banned away from him too, but one of his best champs at the moment, I think.
Small reminder, Baus did very bad things to Manatee when Manatee was playing that Lilia. He's going full AP, Bomba Gragas. If you do find the cask, if you do find the belly bop, you can 100% to zero that Lilia real quick.
Oh, AP jungler instead, huh?
Okay, yeah. So to me, that leans more towards his Triss being a mid lane choice right now. As that Nidalee is going to be the matchup into Lilia. Both of these champions, obviously magic damage focused and like to scale a little bit more. But not quite that easy setup so far for Velia. But of course, he doesn't necessarily need it. He is quite a good Nidalee. Let's see how he pilots it on the Rift.
I'm getting a little bit worried because I'm suddenly looking at a ranged mid laner, a ranged jungler, a Gragas who really likes to create range with his ultimate or bring you closer depending on the mood right there. And suddenly you've locked in a melee jungler, melee mid laner, and a melee top laner. Los Ratones were playing IJC on range on like game number 1 so well. And I feel like IJC are going to get so many bans on the support pool that will create all those engages, because so far you've got nothing.
Man, I can't get over Hansamdi's poker face, dude. He just doesn't
Sometimes you look at him and you think that his camera's frozen.
Yeah,
it's not frozen. He's just stone cold.
Is it a video or a JPEG, dude? Like, what's going on? It's he's chilling all the time. Just doesn't let it phase him. And that's the kind of attitude that you need. Backs against the wall, this kind of in a best of 5 here in the finals of the EMEA Masters. Again, lots of support bands coming through in this second rotation.
But I think since, as you put the nail on the head, all the support bands coming in, I think we're just going to get Enchant or AD Carry, right? Maybe it's a Jinx game. Maybe it's a Zeri game. You know, we talk about like the fact that there's a melee, but all send it. Jinx would be nice here. Do you guys want to see anything else?
I'd like to see Xayah here for Hansamdi. I think Baus is very dangerous. Spears are very dangerous, but especially the cask hitting through is going to be very scary. Unless you want to go for something like Sivir, who also has the exact same pattern. He's very defensive with a spell shield. You don't get caught very easily, and you have hard shove.
All right, some hyper scaling downside for Hansamdi, who has been the best.
Are you ready for your Yumis and your Lulus to come out? Not tasting purple.
Because I think you got to take Lulu here, right? Surely, as Los Ratones, you take Lulu, unless you have some other engage option that looks big. Yeah, Zeri Lulu.
I heard some purring. Oh, it's not purring. Okay.
But that will purr on the right
that
side.
That will purr.
I think
okay.
that's going to start purring.
Okay, I just want to say I haven't cast a single Yuumi game this year.
Get ready.
I'm the good luck for no Yuumi games.
Okay, hear me out.
Yuumi? What?
Soraka.
Oh.
Hear me, it's not Soraka.
Yeah, okay. Woof! I live to fight another day. Yeah, lots of move speed here. Lots of move speed, lots of grouping up. Pressing that go now button, diving forward. Very squishy team comps on both sides. So things like the ricochet do a lot of damage as well. Don't have to get too close to put out a lot of deep. Absolutely.
Yeah. I feel like Crownie is going to have a little bit of a harder time because he doesn't necessarily have the front line. Bowser's going to go full AP and we all know this. So he's not going to necessarily be given the time to ramp up in a team fight. However, he does have a lot of agency. Zeri is a very slippery AD carry. And you do have a lot of utility through the heals, attack speed from Nidalee, and the Lulu utility as well. So you could potentially get some outplaying going on. However, looking at priorities through the lanes, that Sivir Karma, again, IJC really focusing on getting Handsome D ahead in that bot lane.
Well, the 2v2 was important to get them here, but in this series, it hasn't been the perfect lane for them. While the focus has come down, there's problems in mid. There's problems with jungle. Hell, there's even problems with top when you look at the grand scheme of things. Lost Ratones a 2-0. One step closer to getting that EMEA Masters trophy, something never done by the region before. Cadril has set up a team full of 5 very big names, or at least 4, and then 1 developing name in the jungle. And they have done incredible things so far. If they could beat the LFL, the second seed of it, 3-0 in their first EMEA Masters final, who knows how far they'll go. This is only the beginning here. Match point, game 3.
And this could be the beginning of something big in general for them, but also there's 2 Nordic players in that team. I mean, of course, Reckless had his debut in the LEC, but he's Swedish. That is the region that Swedish talent comes from, same as Baus.
True.
Alrighty, these level 1s. That's a big little mantra queue coming through from Prime as well. The poke, I think, actually might set a little bit of a tone in this game. Both teams have some poke angles, and
was that a goat with 5 stars on that emote? Was that a reference to Faker? It was a goat with 5 stars.
He's got the T1 2025 emote as well, so.
Imagine having to pay for that though as Reckless. Like, bruh, I was on the team. Would you pay for it?
But they're on TR. They get everything, right? You don't have to pay for the emote.
True.
Yeah, but if you did, I was just saying that would be.
That would be. They made it.
Sorry, rules are rules.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, Reckless now on his signature Lulu. I can't believe I'm saying that. Go back 10 years and say that one out loud. But he's done a lot on these enchanters. He's very good on these champions. Zeri Lulu is a scary combination. So much so in this series, bot side, it's all been, or series has been about bot side. And will continue to do so.
Especially when Reckless recently with Smash, we're in a meta where, enchanters are starting to pop up again as well. I feel like Smash was the hyper carry of that team.
You mean Smashy?
I mean Smashy indeed. I want to say Nemesis has been pretty pungent in these laning phases, and guess what? Tristana has a very pungent laning phase too.
Yeah, and against the Yone as well. It goes a little bit not as similar as the Corki, because Corki wins for the first 3 levels, and then Yone can actually take trades. But Tristana, the problem with Tristana is that it's inside her build to be able to push these waves through the passive. So she just bites through those waves super fast, which then allows Velia to roam free on this map. And it is carry versus carry matchup here in the jungle, so having that prior mid is going to be huge to make plays around the map for that Nidalee.
All eyes again, not just on the bot side of the map, but I think this jungle matchup has been really interesting. We set it up at the beginning of this day. More carry-orientated Velia versus Team Facilitator. It hasn't worked out facilitating his team for Theocax, and this time around, the Lilia does have a little bit more agency to be a bit selfish in that jungle, farming up, getting the individual economy going. And of course, you can, it's Nidalee, dude. You can say very similar things on the other side, but it's very hard to execute. And not a lot of CC to lock people down can make the setups on those spears difficult. And you often live and die by those spears on Nidalee.
I feel like these teamfights are going to be very funny, actually. There's not a lot of CC on either side of the Rift. A lot of these champions, like the Nautilus, the Leona, got taken away through the ban phase since they were not prioritized in the first 3. So we're stuck here with ranged champions, some could be wonky engages such as Q-Flash from Lilia or Yone ultimate going straight into that backline. But other than this, I think we're going to see a very extremely back and forth teamfight scenarios around those neutral objectives.
Crowny just getting a heavy trade here. It's good from Hansam D, which picks up his health. Remember, again, Spell Shield doesn't give you mana anymore. Only health for the Sipper is Lilia was spotted bot, so Theocax is just now heading up towards top as Velia is taking Scuttle Crab in the meantime. Pretty healthy, even trade for now as Velia is getting the spawn of these Raptors.
He's thinking about it.
Certus is half HP, so it's good timing.
They do have Smite. Actually, Theocax has Smite.
Oh, and Velia just
And
dodged
Velia
everything.
doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't have Smite, but he does have the pressure to push him out. Nothing else coming up as Velia's just waiting in case he comes back in.
Gonna go for those Krugs instead. But that was a full camp sweep there from Theocax. Very well defended. Didn't lose anything in that situation.
They're up.
Yeah, they're
They
up
are
now.
now.
They're up now.
Yeah. Yeah, you can kind of predict that first clear from Lilia. Like some other champions like Kayn and such, who will just always do chickens really early because of the spam Q AoE. So very well, at least get to still one camp away from her.
Crowny might be in a bit of trouble. Good root coming in. Polymorph as a response. Summoner spells now used. One apiece from Crowny and Reckless as Sam D has to mirror. Primer has enough mana to continue this pursuit, and Lost Ratones in this 2v2 are losing out thanks to, of course, the Karma pick.
What's happening with Theocax over on the bottom of the map? He's looking for an invade. However, you do not have priority through that mid lane, so Tristana will move first. There is no Smite on Velia, so you could have Theocax play more aggro and Smite, which he did.
Ooh, lost it, and the damage is in Theocax's favor as well. For once, we're talking about a jungle trade that's going well for Lost Ratones.
And mid.
Nemesis almost ended himself. You're right, Crowny flashed on two. His flash is now gone. But Lost Ratones in this early game, IJC are getting a lot.
Oh, here comes Theocax. He's thinking about it.
Let's get this Swirl Seed down, though. That's the problem. Theocax is going to get level 5 off this camp. Extra damage to Sam D. Might be a bit too low for the dive, and the wave's clearing out. He's got level 6, and he will not yield. You're right. Baus could be in a lot of trouble, and the minions to get level 6 himself are too far off.
Whoa, the flash.
Howling reaction is slow, but look at mid. Certus had to flash himself. We are losing summoners all across the map.
Gosh.
Yeah. There's not a lot of flashes left. Top lane playing a little bit more aggressive for Howling, trying to pin down Baus. One level ahead, but very importantly, Certus loses his flash on the 1v1 with Nemesis. And the next play... Oh,
Howling could be in a bit of trouble. Baus
No
doesn't have
mana.
too much mana to follow up. And as you said, I mean, there is a lot of damage here from Velia, but one turret shot taken, waiting for the primal surge. Spear, again, stops the back, and Baus is trying to buy time.
Here comes Prime, though, to try and contest around these grubs. Velia, it's the obvious thing to turn around to. I don't think Ici Japon are going to give it away for free. Here's the support.
Theocax and Prime are coming in. Level 6 not picked up, so no Lilting Lullaby. Baus is here without mana, but level 6 himself. Spear not gonna connect, and Theocax in this early game finding a lot of pressure. This is a very different angle from what we've been talking about for the first 2 games of the series.
I feel like that's also fine from Lost Ratones though. However, Velia took that first Void grab, doesn't give away the +1 tick on feats of strength on the neutral objective. So usually that's what you'll see. If you are weaker on the map, you just start it first, smite the first one, and leave the objective. You give 2 away to IJC, which will benefit Yone on his side lane later on. So Void grabs are very, very good for IJC. Theocax looking again for that Raptor spawn.
Flash with Lilting Lullaby. Velia has to flash himself. He gets up against the corner. They try to predict. No vision. Velia now up against Red Wall, but he's about to get snapped back. Certus jumped on in the meantime. His flash burnt before his Nemesis goes in for the all trade. He has a jump. He has a spear. And that's Theocax into his rear. The ult sent out. Certus is running for his life as there's no zap to continue and connect. Lost Ratones now in their own jungle are getting threatened out by the 2v2. Velia trying to help out with his primal surge up and ready, but the spear doesn't connect. Crowny walking forward with the Lulu. He feels confident, but Hansam D can say the same thing. Prime is zoned out, but Crowny still sticking around. What was he thinking there? First blood over to IJC.
And that's exactly what I meant about facilitating your jungler. Nemesis drops mid, dips straight into the jungle. Certus does the same thing. They start trading. But remember what I mentioned earlier about none of them has any CC. The fights kept going back and forth until everyone blows their summoners. Crowny did not have his flash from the earlier skirmish down the bot lane and ends up going down very crucially to Hansam D.
That was very over-aggressive from Crowny in that play right there. Theocax has really turned it around in this one. He might just find himself the second kill of the game on Baus.
Wait.
He'll have W again soon.
Yeah, and Baus will just E him, so Theocax has to be pretty careful about how he plays this. Baus thinking about trying to dive to the turret. Prime is here. He's tagged out in the end, so Baus will die, but he's going to die to the support.
Oh, look how much time he's
Look,
wasting.
yeah, how much he knows turret range as well. I love it. Like, bro, Baus is, as you said, wasting so much time. Next wave comes in. It's delayed, so naturally it'll be a bit of a push. And you're right, Baus wasted time. Dragon's free.
Absolutely, and there's no TP on Howling to join them. There is TP on Baus in 15 seconds. If IJC chose to even try and contest this, he could TP back in for the fight.
And not even an assist for anyone for IJC either. It was all on Prime. Just getting that solo kill at the end of it. Very able to steal away the blue buff alongside the Dragon. And yeah, I'd say Baus has had some not so good deaths this series, but that one, yeah, that's pretty good.
Death, yeah.
We'd take that.
Granny could be in a bit of trouble though. Hansumdi and Prime are having great fun in this lane with the BF sword as well. And that slingshot. There's a lot more Sivir damage than you'd expect after getting that early kill. But regardless, as Howling now starts proxying onto Baus, Baus just teleported back up top with a Lost Chapter and Symbiotic Souls. So he's still doing fine regardless of his gold lead in his competitor.
Yeah, and very importantly, I feel like the one item power spikes right here for IJC, even though they do have a very hardcore scaling composition, I feel like Wild Arrows, Blade of the Ruined King specifically for Certus, and Leandris for Lilia are super strong first items.
It's happening again though. The invade causes a flash. Is there going to be a death though? Baus has his ulti available, but Flash is on a cooldown. Spear onto Theocax and Delia sends him away. I got deja vu of game 2 and that invade at red buff. That almost hurt them again here at blue.
Yeah, respawn coming through from these grubs in 30 seconds will be enough time for IJC to reset, lick their wounds, and get back on the map to contest. Yeah, the spot lane for Los Ratones has not been looking too hot in this game. They've been constantly pushed on the turret. I mean, Karma Sivir is a real pain. Here comes Crownie.
Yeah, but the minion wave's taken away. Crownie has shocked them and awed them, but Hansumdi is willing to step up. Crownie trying to play the long con with Reckless, having enough to get a wild growth out. Crownie's ulti's going to run out, and you said Theocax is coming in. He's coming in with everything up. Prime just flashed on in, I believe. No, there's a delay. As Crownie flashes away, now Theocax. Lilting Lullaby's going to connect onto 2. Reckless with his ulti available. Not going to be able to pop it. It's a sweep from Theocax, and it's a perfect double.
2-0-1 for the Lilia. Leandris surely in the pocket when he goes back to base. And this is a completely different game that we're seeing from IJC. That's what I meant when I said they're second at the entire tournament at kills per game. They like playing aggressive. They like playing for the early game. They like the extra early kills, specifically on Hansumdi. But when you have a Lilia, you definitely take those.
And this was just so well played from IJC right here. The turnaround to start with. Los Ratones looked like they wanted it, but what a swell seed. Double sleep, double pop, boom. There it is, easy as you like. Double kill for Theocax.
So for Crownie with a jump scare as well. He started to chase the car, and he's like, oh, there's a Lilia here.
Gold lead for bot, gold lead for jungle. I mean, this Nidalee pick for Velia. I remember in the earlier parts of the year, he was not allowed to play Nidalee because across Europe, Nidalee was a little bit taboo.
And Vi, but...
and Vi, yeah, but, you know, again, last game was pretty big, and even his Nidalee that we've seen so far, I believe in the tournament, in scrims, has been huge.
Oh, yeah.
This is what we said on the desk. You said it, Georgia. I mentioned wanting to see Prime and Theocax pair up. What just happened there on the chicken invade? It was Theocax and Prime moving together, both individually. They were making some decent map plays in this series, but they weren't doing it together as a pairing, and so it was a little bit weak. This time around, though, things are very different. What isn't different, though?
Bro, I don't envy this, man. Like, I do not envy playing against Baus. This must be so damn annoying.
It's Cassante as well. Like, what can you do? Because Baus has enough sustain at this
got
point.
The last one too.
And he gets that minion too.
It's so gross with phase rush, especially, right? It's just that
And he's
lingering
back.
slow from E.
He's back.
Thing is, Howling knows that this is happening. What can he do about it? He might actually be able to all out him under turret him, maybe. Probably not.
Look at that ward. Like, Baus placed him exactly on vision right there.
Yeah, all out, as you said, might be coming out, but explosive casting, okay, kited away, Baus. No way, swell speed, come on, surely. Flash committed. Theocax gets kill number 3.
Ooh, I don't like that Theocax committed his flash right as his Leandris completed 54 seconds for that Dragon. You could end your game right there. The 3,000 gold in the lead. That flash Q from Lilia could be huge to engage these fights.
We'll see as that one plays out here, as you mentioned. When this Dragon spawns up very soon, I feel like with the push that you've got from IJC, with the Sivir, with the Karma, should be able to get priority for that Dragon. And it won't really come down to one of those fights where Theocax would need that flash. I think that's the ideal hope here for the French representatives to try and get this this Dragon. Otherwise in the series, they have been struggling to get these early drags.
It feels like a completely different game, though, for the LFL third seed. This has been, as I said earlier, like a sliding scope up. It felt like Lost Ratones were just in the driver's seat, but this game goes completely against it. Reckless might also be caught out. He flashes away as Theocax is just rolling down here. He's got full stacks of the passive, so movement speed massive. Nemesis has to pop his ulti. Serta's thinking about what else he can get, but the soul comes back bound. Dragon might just be given over thanks to the fact that Reckless was sent out with all summoners.
That's about it. You do not have Gragas, you do not have the face check potential right there. You don't have a body to walk inside Fog of War. And Los Ratones are gonna have to give up that second Dragon, first one for IJC. And this is gonna start getting harder and harder because Yone is definitely gonna go to side lane later on. Absolute menace of a champion as Hansam D and Crowny just going at it.
Yeah, they are indeed. Crowny just battling away. Baus coming in to stay, and Hansam D is going to get help from the Deer, but Theocax set in the middle now without his ulti. Velia finally joined in. He pounces and he's looking for his first kill.
Whoa,
his
the
first
damage!
setup is not found. Howling also getting into the fray as Baus needs a slow, needs to get out. Velia now on the wrong side and spears into Kasana means nothing. It's a flash away. Theocax still chasing without his own flash, though. One spear will take him out, but it's only Howling who's in sight for now. Velia about jumping over the wall.
Way.
It's sneaky as all hell, the spear! Velia, that outplay was insane! He jumps around Vision, gets the kill, sees Sam D here, and thinks, okay, let's go again. He's angry, he's upset, but it turns into an into the end, I guess, as Sam D was a bit too much.
We've all been there. The hype, the adrenaline for making a sick play leads you directly to your doom. But that was a great little play to get the kill on a Theocax, and the shutdown as well for Velia, who on this Nidalee was falling a little bit behind, getting that kill, getting that injection of gold. But still, the narrative has not changed in this game. It's been tough right now for LR, and it continues against the French squad.
I feel like it was also very unfortunate because the little honey fruit spawned right as Nidalee shows outside of that bush. So Theocax did not have the chance for reaction right there.
Baus, not going to die, but a couple more trades like that, and the all-out comes out yet again. As you said, you know, Foxtrot is 3k gold lead. IJC still maintaining the lead. The only thing that hasn't fallen yet is that first turret, and Howling's come pretty close with the fact that he's not only been proxying too, he's had a lot more alone time in the lane after Baus has been taken down. Another couple of waves will do it while we look towards the rest of the map. Teleport's going to be burned. That's Nemesis who's joining in with Reckless on Lulu while Crowny sits alone mid.
I mean, it's so difficult for that Tristana to actually lane versus Yone. Like, I've been talking about this the whole time. Blade of the Ruin King is the only item that this champion needs to be a menace on the side lane. And you see the trades that he's taking aggressively towards Nemesis. Nemesis cannot step up. Another person that cannot step up is Velia, all alone to face check into his own jungle. Again, Los Ratones are going to be stuck in this predicament where they're going to need Baus to face check for them, because they're behind in priority, therefore they're always second at those neutral objectives. And now IJC grab the Herald and they'll grab that mid lane tower.
Oh, but here comes the engaged topside. Howling could be in trouble.
Yeah, Spear doesn't connect. That was the biggest part as Velia looks for
flash.
yet another unstoppable for the time being now. Into the Cougar form, the explosive cast sends him up against the wall. The all-out makes him squishy, but Velia's taking some turret shots. However, the Spear this time does. And a shutdown over to Baus while mid-turret explodes. Bot with the TP coming out of Serta's might be up next as well with Prime moving down.
Oh, the sleep.
He's sleepy.
He can't get out. He has his flash available.
Oh,
but
whoa!
it's a bait. Nemesis as well, thinking about the jump in. The cooldown is now back up available as Baus is also teleported in into a choke. They're merry. They're few. They're all together. And all it takes is an explosive cast that was used in the top play. So Prime running away with On the Hunt thanks to Sam D. But Crowny's joined in. He's shocked him and he's at least found one target, but he needs to keep that auto aggro. Lost Ratones on the chase. IJC managed to slither away.
They just have no spells to pin him down. There's no CC. All there is chase, some movement speed, a few jumps here and there, a whippy from Lulu, and that's all you've got from Los Ratones. Nothing to pin him down when that cast from Gragas is on cooldown.
But it's a good thing, right, that the side of IJC aren't super speedy with a Mantra Shield and a Sliver Ultimate and all this kind of stuff.
Whose side are you on?
No, I'm being sarcastic, bro. They're super speedy. They're moving, supersonic, and it's so tough. Like you say, you need that CC to lock them down, and you just don't have it in that team comp. The polymorph is something, but it's not going to work if Lulu is not in range. And yeah, just limping away was IJC. A little bit too far forward, but not punished by Los Ratones.
You also lost Zeri, flash in that last play, heal from Reckless. I'm just counting the summons because all I see is that Prime was the only one to use his summoner spells outside of the teleport from Certus, but because we're getting to Dragon in 30 seconds, and for the first time in this series, it's one apiece. IJC in a good position, still with this Lilia, now with the Seeker's Arm Guard as well to fully commit, to keep snowballing this game and making sure that Velia doesn't get a chance to himself.
Flicker Blade was just completed by Sivir as well. Handsome D really given the tools to carry this game. 1.3 thousand gold up. And Velia's fancying his chances versus the Cassandra because he knows his team is coming through.
Yeah, Cranny doesn't get the slowdown though, but Baus is also here. 3 members committing top while mid might be open the all-out.
There you go.
Howling's still got a turret up here as well. Baus doesn't do enough damage yet, but Velia again trying to get the spear, but it's taking so long. Shocked in Howling and set up against the turret. The ulti's there, Cranny almost dies, but they finally commit. While in a turret mid is the cost. Almost lost Ratones that overcommit to the top
Wait,
lane.
Howling is doing Baus cosplay, keeping 3 members busy from Los Ratones. Last time this play happened in the top lane, it was tier 1 mid. Second time it's tier 2 mid.
Oh, the wild growth was good. Fate Sealed is going to catch
Oh, the
him.
block!
Place the flash away from Citizens. There's a reset here. The Soul Unbound, the ulti. Great play from Reckless and Nemesis right in front of the Dragon. They get a clean pick.
Yeah, but that kill on top is going to cost that tower in mid plus the Dragon as well. Definitely not worth it here for the Rats. They want to pick up one on the side, and that is Nemesis' first kill, so he should be able to get going a little bit as Baus is now in
great
trouble.
play. Oh my god, Theocax, a prediction over the wall. Sleepy time, but that was just incredible. The jungler finally rising up in IJC.
He's found himself a cat as well. Velia has to jump through the wall. Doesn't have any friends around. Nemesis and Reckless just pressing B down that bot lane. And for the time being, has been a lot of back and forth. Let's take stock, because that Cassante keeps getting tankier and tankier. Unending Despair now completed. Hollow Radiance completed, 2 items down. But very crucially, with that kill Nemesis onto Certus, he completes his Infinity Heads. That Tristana is now a real threat. The only problem so far has been, can you actually connect?
That's also crazy. While we talk about the strength of top, I'm just seeing another game where Nemesis is getting ahead again. And it's just this thing that is in the back of my mind that's like, your Nemesis after that kill onto Certus is 1k gold ahead, 2 items, almost 3. And Nemesis just has this way of farming up. He's always kind of relevant. And so while it's still a 2k gold lead for IJC, and I feel like this game in these front-to-back team fights is only going to get scarier, there's a couple elements on Los Ratones that I'm like, 3 items Zeri, not there yet, 2 items almost. Nemesis, as I said, is getting there. Maybe Baus as well with his one-shot capabilities. Like, it's just things to keep in mind as we get towards Atakan and Baron in 3 minutes.
That point, though, about always farming up and being relevant, very true on the other side as well for Hans Samdi. Every single game this series, every single game in EMEA Masters, right, he's been able to do that. He is a reliable carry on those ADCs. And I think this game especially, George has said it a million times, there's no CC really for Los Ratones. How do you shut down, lock down this Sivir through things like her spell shield, through the shielding from the team, from Karma as well, and all the space that will be created otherwise? She's going to have to really position poorly, like really poorly, to get caught for her to be brought down and Los Ratones win the fights.
Now, here's how this game becomes problematic for Los Ratones. Someone's going to have to reply onto the Yone push on the side lane. Tristana's losing to Yone on the side lane. And if Baus goes on the side lane, he's the only guy who can actually pin members down. Flash body slam, the cask. He's the only guy who can actually come in contact with IJC members. And if you have him stuck on a side lane, it is a very IJC favored fight for them.
They are starting up the Atakan though. Note that ward on the back of the pit, or at least near it. that's spotting out. One in front as well as IJC are trying to lure in. They bring the patience to the forefront as Velia is in the right position. Baus is teleporting in through the wave already. Certus has not pulled his trigger yet at 10k. This is just going to be thrown to the wayside. Crownie's not there. He has to run down river. Atakan is going to lose its mind for a bit.
That was genius. They took his TP.
Yeah, great stuff right here from IJC. You don't need to commit, you don't need to do anything else. That adds the TP from Baus, and now the pressure's on Los Ratones. Do they want to really shit and re-engage?
And all in on the Howling. There's on the hunt, bringing in the team. 4 members of IJC. That teleport from Certus still not pulled. He's still around mid lane. What? Lilting Lullaby is used as Nemesis gets out. Reckless at half HP as well, but Wild Growth is now down. A big ulti from Reckless. We look at as Certus has walked down. He teleported to mid, by the way, just to defend the wave as Atakan once again thought about as third time's the charm, it seems.
That's an immortal shield bow Yone that just came in, and a lot of the crucial big cooldowns to keep people alive or come in contact with are gone for Los Ratones. However, this is just a dance back and forth. They just cannot stick.
But Theocax has no mana. Theocax has no mana. He has to go back to his jungle. He's walked up top, but it's still being pressured. This is a massive mistake on Vision as well. IJC need to get in now. This Lily needs to try and steal. Crownie is soloing this, but Velia jumps in. Atakan is going to drop. The flower's exposed. Crownie sitting, taking as much as he can as IJC are ulting upon, but there's the Cassante ulting dead meat. Howling, he's first into the dirt. Baus looking for a little bit more, the blast cone to get them out. Small moments, small details we talk about with Los Ratones.
The cooldowns weren't there for Los Ratones, but they weren't there for IJC either. Ici Japon, they use on the hunt from Sivir. They use the Lilting Lullaby as well. The flash Lilting Lullaby nonetheless from the Lilia. Without these tools, you cannot set up the fight, you cannot dictate the fight, and it's Los Ratones who write the story.
I don't know what the start of Atakan was. There is no setup right there. You took that TP down from Baus, and I feel like they just ended up overextending, just reset the Atakan, and at the end of the day, this is an Atakan where, oh my god, they set another original objective. What is going on?
You can't breathe, no one can breathe.
Well, Theocax has ulti in 10 seconds to breathe as for Los Ratones to be in here. They don't as of yet, but they're walking up. Baus with no teleport available, believe you.
Oh, they know now.
Play at 8k. Baus has to walk up as well. It's going to be a slow one here, but Howling's not here either. 3 members in front of the Baron. They try and sneak, but Los Ratones move into position and make sure it doesn't get taken from under their breath.
Yeah, it was a good idea, I feel, from IJC, but just not quite quick enough. Nice try on the steal. It is going to turn into that mid-turret, though, for Los Ratones. I'll take that one, open up the map.
That was a terrible idea. You have no setup for bot lane. That is your sole point if you can get that dragon. You have no vision. You lost your mid lane tower because majority of your members are on the top side of the map now. And your sole point is being taken away to a piece for both of these teams. And I feel like, again, IJC need to slow down. They need to breathe and start setting up properly for these objectives. They've got the money to do that, but the gold lead has now shrinked.
Okay, there's 5 people top sides here for the LFL. Los Ratones know this, they see them, they're all on vision, so Nemesis is going to keep pushing on bot side. He has got a big old wave, and he is Tristana, but I don't think he's going to keep that push going. If he gets caught here, then this is bad news bears right now at this stage of the game. 26 minutes in with Nash up. Both teams have some decent-ish damage for it as well. A catch could spell that big purple worm, and with it, this crucial game 3 in the series.
And it's best of 5. You know, it felt like we were getting somewhere in this third game. 500 gold now the only lead. IJC, we were celebrating, you know, the return of the LFL in the finals. I felt like it was finally seeing Theocax holding control. The difference about this from this jungler than rather being on the dog duty we talked about, having the carry potential, it was completely different for a game. He's able to stand up to Velia. Even though he still has an individual lead in this game, note that as Foxdrop told us before, Soul Point was taken away. So 2 dragons apiece, 3-minute 40 timer. Baron is up in top. That's obviously the focus right now.
A lot of setup coming through from Los Ratones. So many traps around. Anyone entering that riverside is going to be seen. And luckily for IJC, they do have their Cassante towards the top side of the map. And Certus, as you can see through your mini-maps, is going to start walking up. That the Scuttlecrab is going to get secured. Yeah, there you go. It's going to get secured for Theocax a little bit early on the smite. Oh, it was actually early smite. What happened there? They started again! Please!
Like
please, what's going on?
I mean, Helgia's here to poke.
Yeah, there's no Lulu. You don't have the setup, you don't have the vision. I feel like this is still tough though. You
Oh, they're
can't
turning
stick
him,
with
they're
it.
turning him.
PP is not good. Onto 5 people, flashes immediately. Crownie ultis as well. Bounces position, separates for a little bit, but Crownie's trying to keep the ulti alive and going. Howling at the forefront for now as Nemesis gets some good AoE. Crownie's W also keeps the ulti going, but for now, it's about to expire. Crownie's ulti is down. Nemesis double summoner in the end of that play as well. IJC, you got to argue, they actually got quite a lot for that play on back.
Now that was a turn that we wanted to see at the Atakan. Take the TP, turn on the TP, try to get resources out of Los Ratones, flash, TP, flash on Crownie as well, burnt, and on Nemesis. Really, really good play right here from IJC. Another setup for Baron this time around. It was just to take resources away from Los Ratones, and they backed out.
Tough situation here for both teams. Riding on a bit of a knife's edge, it feels like. At least the pressure is. Because of that lack of hard engage and big, easy to execute stuns, CC, you can kind of flirt with danger like this without the risk of the punishment coming through being so prevalent in your face. IJC keep flirting with danger, but they know if they can pull one of these off, it is huge in this game. And that poke from Los Ratones, so far it's just been enough to keep them in.
And they're playing, I guess, a ticking bomb right here. Certus working towards his Infinity Edge. Third item onto Yono. Wow, that spear really did hurt.
Poke hurts. I mean, Sam D has to pop his ulti. Wait, Nemesis. A jump in, but doesn't want to risk it. Sam D is going to spell shield that last tick. Baus is going to fight it out, and these are top laners just doing top lane things.
levels up.
Gets him out.
He's 2 levels up and
indeed.
2.2k up.
These last couple of plays, he's been big. Los Ratones are trying to flaunt the start of this. I mean, Theocax got burnt down a bit. He's at half HP. Ward now spots it out, but 8k, 7k. Look at where Theocax is. He's going to roll in over some traps. 3k is going to be a flip, but no! Smite before the deer gets near the headlights.
Howling teleports and it's too late. They get everything and then some for Los Ratones. Baus still gets his TP and now they can set up for this Baron push in those sideways, the split push, having the summon advantage as well. It is disaster for IJC.
Yeah, and now you can actually get some push. You can stop the Yone on the side lane as well, at least delay him. Theocax gets a big chunk.
Oh, he's not going to come up, but Baus is tanky enough. The sweet spot hit, but Baus has got enough HP to play with. Theocax gets hit by a spear or even by Baus at this point, and he gets chunked massive to the point where he's out of the fight.
But that is the Lilia ult out. And Theocax has his flash, I'm sorry, lose my mind, has his flash available to make that big play. And again, that dizziness on the engage. Los Ratones now with the Baron can just get to push for free.
Oh, it's so tough.
Found him, Belia over the wall, and we're back to jungle superiority.
That is a one-shot. That is a very dead Theocax. That deer is donezo. Velia took him some time to get online in this game, but 31 minutes in, him and the rest of the rats looking like they have a stranglehold in game number 3 and potentially will be the end of EAE Masters. IJC's LFL run could be over.
The dragon has now spawned. It will spell soul point for Los Ratones, and Velia is already on his way. That Baron has netted them 2 towers and a dragon and a couple of kills right here, and from a gold deficit into a very strong 3,000 gold lead. Well, you could argue that the entire lead is onto Baus as he's 3,000 up.
Yeah.
Home to this Cassante. Very, very strong showing right here from Los Ratones. And who would have thought 4 years later, not only is the NLC 2-0 up, but that was a very controversial team for the NLC as well. They weren't tried, they said. They weren't tested, they said. They weren't pushed to their limits at the NLC, they said. They'll find it difficult to get through EMEA Masters, they said, and so far, they've gotten through every single obstacle thrown their way.
It feels like Supermassive were their biggest obstacle so far, pushing them to 5 games. And, you know, semi-finals 3-0 versus Team Phantasma from the Hellenic League, and then we come to finals, we say, well, the LFL's different. The LFL obviously has more budget, better players. The grassroots of it are growing and growing every single year. Gets better and better, apparently, but the NLC brought together a super team beyond comprehension. A streamer who proxies and ints his games, but then suddenly he can team fight. Theocax about to get that to the face as Baus goes Betty bye-byes while Nemesis comes in and flies. Prime against the turret, just gets chunked out. Howling's meant to be a tank, but Crownie's diving it. IJC are getting dopey on the limits now as well, and the NLC, it feels like, have finally reached to the point. 3 are dead, 30 seconds left, and Los Ratones are looking at a 3-0.
4 years and 2 heartbreaks, but third time is a charm.
You can say one thing and one thing only, that Cagel's project was a respect. Once again, Europe is consumed by the plague of rats. And here, the NLC will stand, hoisting up EMEA Masters for winter 2025. Your new champions and lords.
It's just the content team, they said. Well, how's winning EMEA Masters for content? 3-0 in the finals.